Welcome to Beyond Food and Wine, a Le Cordon Bleu podcast. In this podcast, we get some real insight into the food and hospitality industry from a variety of renowned chefs, industry experts, and Le Cordon Bleu alumni. Join us as we hear the fascinating stories and unique experiences behind some of the best-known names in the industry. Hello and welcome to Beyond Food and Wine, a Le Cordon Bleu podcast. I'm delighted to be joined by Eva Hagman, who is an alumni and cookbook author. Thank you for joining us, Eva.
Well, thank you, Freya, very much for having me.
It's lovely to have you back here at Le Cordon Bleu, your alma mater. How does it feel to be back?
Oh, it feels great. I mean, every time I'm in London, I come by and I just get a little bit of the atmosphere back and have a cup of coffee. It's the most beautiful coffee in London. So that's a must, always.
Well, I agree completely, of course. But you came when we just moved into this building, I think, when it was shiny and new. Has much changed over the years?
No, I haven't seen the classrooms, but the classrooms were just amazing when I was here. Everything, as you say, was shiny and new. I was expecting to stand in the back of the class, not see anything. And you had all these modern facilities with mirrors. And so, no, but the cafe maybe is a bit more now than it was. Everything is just wonderful.
Good. So I'd like to start by letting you tell us a little bit about your career and why you decided to train in the culinary arts.
Well, life is usually just a series of happenings. I mean, I was in the computer business, in marketing. I was designing children's clothing, selling, so lots of different things. And then I lived in London with my family when our oldest daughter was diagnosed with gluten intolerance.
Okay.
And it was very difficult. It was just before year 2000, and not so many people knew what that was. And you couldn't buy anything in the stores. So I had to start cooking everything from scratch. Even, chicken broth would have gluten in it. And that was quite a challenge. I had always been fond of cooking, but not at that level. But it was important to us that she got the same nice food as her friends and that it looked nice. So I started to develop a passion for cooking. And I heard about the Cordon Bleu and I thought, wow, I'd love to go there. But how would I get in? I have a family and it's difficult to fit in your life. And also, I would never be admitted. So that was the start of my dream of coming here. But then it took a while.
Well, good things come to those who wait. So how did you come to actually apply? What changed?
Well, just when I was feeling that I should apply, we moved. So I got out of here and we moved to Switzerland. So I started doing some preparatory things. I studied nutrition. I got involved in food photography. And when we moved back, I applied and I had a better skill level, I think, of understanding of cooking and so. And I was very happy when I was actually accepted. I was one of the few mature students in the class. And it's a nice atmosphere in the class, even though there were all these different ages.
Yeah, it's the same today. We still have students from all different age groups, and it creates a wonderful atmosphere, I think, of different life experiences and different kind of levels of kind of knowledge. So I think, it's true still today that we have that here. So how has your training helped you in your kind of career or your exploits moving onwards? So you have a blog on Gluten Free, and your most recent book, your new book, which has just come out, is on gluten-free dinner party cooking. So how has Le Cordon Bleu informed that kind of skill set?
Well, when I started here, my goal was really to open a gluten-free restaurant or a gluten-free cafe or something. But the more I realized that I was actually going to be moving around with my husband's work, I thought of the blog. And here, all the instructors were incredibly helpful. It wasn't a gluten-free class, but they always had time to help me understand the substitutes and showing me how to plate different things in an exciting way. So that was the foundation for everything that I've done. And then when I graduated, I also did the bakery course because gluten-free baking is very difficult. And again, this was not on gluten-free baking, but the instructor, he was a former head of one of the major bakeries in Lyon in France. And he was really amazing. He took his time explaining the chemistry of baking and why it's so difficult when you don't have the gluten in it. So my baking skills became much better after that, and I could experiment with some new ways of getting nice gluten-free breads. So definitely, if I hadn't gone to Cordon Bleu, I would never have done this. Also, the blog I started together with one of the alumni from my class. So that was fun.
That's really beautiful. I think a lot of people find, lifelong or very good friends, even if there's seas in between them. It's a good place to build a relationship with like-minded people, but also to understand going back to, learning the skills in order to kind of pull them apart and understanding the science of why things work. You need to then understand how you can change that and make it work without that key component. So did you find a lot of trial and error with the gluten-free baking? It must have been quite frustrating at times.
Oh, absolutely. It's very difficult. I mean, when you take the gluten away, you take the elasticity out of the dough. So you have to find something else to pretend to give that elasticity, to capture, for instance, when you do yeast bread, to capture the bubbles to make it rise. And a lot of things that went wrong, always. But, you come out with better recipes, better ways of doing things.
And obviously enough to have created your lovely new book. What was the idea behind making it a kind of entertaining book, a dinner party book?
Well, by the time that I was done with all the studying and ready to do the book, there were a lot of books out already on the market, but there weren't that many that addressed the fine dining part, which I felt I had been taught here. So I tried to grab all that and put it into the book. I've developed many recipes on my blog, and which has global followers that have given so many nice comments, so I could pick the favorite ones and put in the book. And that's I think it's an important segment, that you feel like you can have really nice food, nicely plated, even though you can't eat gluten. I mean, gluten shouldn't be a restriction for gourmet food.
Absolutely. I mean, there's been a lot in the last few years, and maybe even since kind of COVID, there's been a lot of advancement in alternative ingredients. So as long as you put the work in and have that understanding of what you're working with, I think, absolutely agree. There's no reason to miss out at all. And obviously, people have a perfect tool in your book to learn how to do that.
And I also think it's a good book if you are hosting party for gluten-free guests. I mean, if you don't know how to host a dinner, it can be daunting when you have people with different allergies. And it's also catered with menus to those who prefer fish or are vegan or etc., so that it's easy to host a dinner party.
Fantastic. So you provided actual menus for different occasions.
with suggested wine pairings, which is not my thing. I did a wine pairing course here as well, which was very useful. But my good friend, who is the co-author on this book, she is the wine connoisseur, so she did the wine pairings.
That's brilliant. So it's really an all-encompassing dinner party book that happens to be gluten-free.
Yeah,
which is
exactly. You could put it like that. That's right. Yeah,
fantastic. So your previous book, which I'm not going to try and pronounce the title of,
Vacker Mat På Fat.
thank you,
in Swedish.
which is all about plating.
Yes.
And beautiful food. And you are, in fact, a food stylist and photographer, and you did all of the photography and food styling for your book, and it won an award, which is amazing, and congratulations. Can you tell me a little bit about that, how it came about, and why you think beautiful food is important?
Well, that's something I also learned here. After completing the course, of course, I cooked better food for friends and family. But also, I got so many compliments on what it looked like. And I gave some pointers to friends who didn't change their cooking, but they plated it in a different way. And their friends started saying, wow, you are such a much better cook all of a sudden. You know, it was all just, you eat with your eyes. So it was all the looks of it. And then I decided, as a pandemic project, you know, you cooked up at home anyway, I got all my photos from over the years, and I made some new ones and put together this book for plating, for those who wants to learn how to do the plating. So there are inspirational pages, there are some techniques, and then some recipes for how you make chocolate caviar and Parmesan foam, you know, little things that you put on the plate. And the publisher in Sweden sent it to this competition. It's the World Gourmet Awards that they do. They give them out every year. And I was very surprised. I won in 2 categories with a Swedish book, just from tiny Sweden. There were people from over 200 countries submitting their books. So that was fun. Now the next step would be to put it into English.
Yes.
But I haven't translated. Well, I'm about in the middle of translating it.
Well, that would be very exciting. And for the meantime, we can enjoy at least the beautiful imagery if we don't understand the Swedish.
Thank you. Yes.
So thinking about your career, and obviously it's quite varied in terms of the culinary approach, but thinking about the books and how you put them together and how you came to think of the ideas, what advice would you give to someone who wants to create their own book, whether it's cookery or plating or anything food related?
Well, you have to know what you're doing. I mean, the dream of going to creating the book and everything, it's 15 years. You don't have to take that long. But you have to delve into the details, really learn what you want to do, find out who can help you, if it's the instructors at the Cordon Bleu or if it's somewhere else, and then go for it. Just, I spent many early mornings when I know I wouldn't be interrupted, and many late nights working on the book, concentrating, and I don't know if all those hours are actually ever going to pay off, but I've had lots of fun. You have to be passionate about it, and you have to feel that this is something you really enjoy, which it is for me, so I'm not going to stop.
Good.
There will be some more things coming.
Excellent. I think as someone who maybe came slightly later in life to study here and also to kind of start creating this, would you say that people shouldn't allow that to hold them back if it's a second shot at a career for people? It's still a possibility. Absolutely.
I mean, I was really scared of coming here. I heard all those scary stories of chefs shouting at you, and I wasn't prepared to be back in school again. But I must say it was such a welcoming atmosphere, and I made good friends. We were all ages in the class, but I made good friends all over, and some of them I still keep a little bit in touch with. I would say definitely go for it. You have nothing to lose, just a little bit of time, and you will gain so much more. No, a second career is a good thing. And now I should actually probably be retired, but I work more than ever, and it's so much fun.
That's good. Yeah. So I would love to know what Le Cordon Bleu represents to you in a few words.
I'm always very wordy. Let's see.
Fine. You can make many words.
No, but it's a door opener. Having gone here and saying that I have a chef education in the background, you know, that's okay. If I say that it's a Cordon Bleu, everyone, everywhere, just thinks, wow, you must be fantastic at it. And, you know, so it's definitely a door opener. And it's also genuine knowledge. For me, Cordon Bleu represents, it sounds silly, but it represents excellence.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a stamp of excellence.
That's what we strive for anyway.
Well, it succeeded.
Well, thank you. So I would love to know if you have anything specifically planned, if you know what's next after your, well, it's just come out, so no pressure, but after the most recent book.
Well, actually, just two a little bit more tedious things. One is to find the publisher and do the translation, finish the translation for the book, the plating book. And then we have a lot of questions. Why did you make the Gluten Free Gourmet, the Gluten Free Dinner Party in English? We want it also in Swedish, we want it in Spanish, we want, yeah. So there might be some translation things going on there as well. Otherwise, my husband is always on my case about setting up a little restaurant in our neighborhood. And who knows? Maybe.
Fantastic.
I mean, there are lots of options. You don't just have to work in the kitchen. You can do so many things with, you know, with your passion.
Absolutely. It's such a varied industry. There's, you know, practically any route you want to take, you can. Well, that sounds very exciting. And obviously, whatever your next step, we wish you all the best of luck. And we can't wait for the next book as well.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure to come back to this beautiful building.
That's my absolute pleasure to host you, and thank you for joining us. We'll put some links in the description of our episode to all of your various content, your blog and your book, so people can find you.
Okay, great. Good. Looking forward to get some comments from people on it. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of Beyond Food and Wine, a Le Cordon Bleu podcast. Keep up to date with all our news and episodes by following us on social media or by signing up to our newsletter. Links are included in the episode notes. Until next time, à bientôt!